Let's talk about cardiac arrest. It's a scary thought, right? And it happens to over 300,000 people outside of a hospital every single year. The really terrifying part? It can happen to literally anyone, at any time, anywhere. So, what is actually going on inside the body during those first incredibly critical minutes? Okay, picture this. You're just going about your day, and someone right in front of you suddenly collapses. They're not responding, they're not breathing. What happens next, both inside their body and what you do, will make the difference between life and death. And here's why it's so urgent. There's a ticking clock. The second the heart stops, a timer begins. And after just 4 to 6 minutes without oxygen getting to the brain, cells start to die. We're talking irreversible damage. It's an absolute life or death countdown where every single second counts. Now, to really get what's happening, we have to clear up one major confusion. Cardiac arrest is not the same thing as a heart attack. And trust me, understanding this difference is the key to everything that follows. Think of it like this, okay? A heart attack is basically a plumbing problem. You've got a blocked pipe, an artery, and blood can't get to a part of the heart muscle. But here's the key. The heart is often still beating, still pumping. Cardiac arrest, though, that's an electrical problem. The entire electrical system that tells the heart how to beat just goes haywire, and the heart stops pumping completely. So yeah, a heart attack can cause a cardiac arrest, but they are two very different events. So the electrical system fails, the pump stops. What's the immediate catastrophic result? Well, blood flow to the most important organ in your body, the brain, drops to zero. Instantly. And this is where that terrifying countdown we just mentioned really kicks into high gear. Let's just walk through this grim timeline. At minute 0, the heart stops. No more blood to the brain. By minute 4, brain cells are literally starting to die from oxygen starvation. By minute 6, we're in the zone for permanent, irreversible brain damage. And by 10 minutes, well, without any help, survival is almost impossible. Seeing it laid out like this makes it painfully clear why what a bystander does is not just helpful, it's everything. Okay, so how in the world do we fight back against that clock? Well, the first part of the solution isn't in an ambulance or a hospital. The first line of defense is you. It's CPR, and its main job is to buy that precious, precious time for the brain. Now, I want to ask a question that gets to the absolute core of the biggest myth about CPR. Does it actually restart the heart? I think the answer is going to surprise a lot of you. The answer is a clear, simple, resounding no. CPR does not restart the heart. Think of it more like a manual override. When you push down on the chest, you are physically squeezing the heart, forcing that oxygenated blood to keep moving, to keep flowing to the brain. You are keeping the brain alive until help and a defibrillator can get there. You are literally being the heart for that person. So, how do you do it? It's actually pretty straightforward. First things first, call for help. Get 911 on the way. Then you put the heel of one hand right on the center of the chest with your other hand on top, and you're going to push hard and fast. We're talking 100 to 120 beats per minute. If it helps, think of the rhythm of the song Staying Alive. No joke. You've got to go deep, at least 2 inches, and this is super important, let the chest come all the way back up after each push. That's when the heart fills back up with blood. And remember, hands-only CPR is incredibly effective. All right, so CPR is buying time, keeping the brain alive, but it doesn't fix the root cause, right? It doesn't fix the electrical problem. For that, we need part 2 of the solution, the automated external defibrillator, or as you've probably seen it, the AED. See, the most common type of electrical chaos happening during cardiac arrest is something called ventricular fibrillation, or VF. Instead of one clean signal telling the heart to beat, you've got hundreds of tiny, chaotic signals all firing at once. It makes the heart muscle just quiver, kind of like a bag of worms. It isn't pumping anything. It's just useless electrical anarchy. And the data on this is just staggering. It shows you just how much of a game changer an AED is. Without one, survival rates are heartbreakingly low. We're talking less than 10%.
But look at this. When an AED is used in those first 3 to 5 minutes, survival rates can skyrocket up to 70%. What it does is deliver a controlled shock that stops all that chaotic quivering. It's like hitting a reset button, giving the heart's own natural pacemaker a chance to reboot and take over again. So we have these two incredibly powerful tools, right? CPR and the AED. But they only really work their magic when they're part of a bigger, coordinated response. And this is what's known as the chain of survival.
The American Heart Association breaks it down into 5 critical links. It all starts with someone recognizing what's happening and calling 911. Then, starting high-quality CPR right away. And then, using an AED as soon as you can get your hands on one. Now, notice something really important here. Those first 3 links, the ones that have the biggest impact on whether someone lives or dies, they all happen before the paramedics even get there. They're in the hands of regular people. They're in your hands.
And please don't ever underestimate your power in a situation like this. The science on this couldn't be clearer. A major study confirmed that when a bystander like you steps in and does CPR, it can double or even triple a person's chance of survival. What you do isn't a small thing. It is everything. I want to leave you with this final thought because it's probably the #1 reason people hesitate. They're afraid of doing it wrong. But you have to remember, a person in cardiac arrest is already in the worst possible situation. Your imperfect CPR is infinitely 100% better than no CPR. You simply cannot make the situation worse. All you can do is give them a chance. So ask yourself, what's the one action you'll remember to take if you ever have to face this moment?